one of those places you get so excited to surf, but you also get the butterflies. Like, it's the anxiety. Obviously some fear comes into it, but it's like just that anxiety of like, what do I expect? Like, am I going to go out there and try to surf a heat, or am I going to go and try and get the wave of my life? If the conditions turn on, you could be confronted with either of those things. Like, am I trying to win a heat here and beat this person, or am I trying to get the best wave I've ever got?
What a great time to be tuning in to professional surfing. A giant clash between two of the greats going head to head. Kelly Slater getting a quick start on Gabriel Medina, and the foam ball takes him down. Fireworks all ready to kick things off. Gabriel Medina on the next one. Cleaner line, staying wide open. Arm bars to slow down, and finds the exit advantage to Gabe on the opening exchange of this 40-minute clash with two titans of the sport. We've got Kelly, an 11-time world champ, taking on Gabriel Medina. As we know, Kelly's 22 years older than Gabe, but they've both accomplished so much, and they've brought us so much fireworks over decades of big bouts, especially a final they had out here back in 2014. It's a totally different look of the waves, where 2014 sheet glass firing, and Medina got the jump on Kelly back then. Today a bit windy with that southeast, which is laying down a touch, but still some giant barrels around for these two giant names of our sport. Joe Turpel, Jesse Mendez here for the call. Advantage Gabe after that opening exchange.
Yeah, this is an advantage for Gabe, obviously starting to 6.5 and regaining priority. Looks like Kelly's might have a look here underneath. No, both of them. Ooh, could be maybe a loss of priority there for Gabe. But so far, like you mentioned, a little bit of wind. First wave of Kelly had a lot of chandelier that he had to manage through, and he was sitting very deep on the lineup. Both surfers starting off pretty quickly, which is kind of how they play the game. They don't like to sit around too much. They like to create the rhythm by catching waves, instead of what Jeremy was saying a little bit ago with us, just, recognizing I need to get 2 waves each heat. So everyone plays a difference. Everyone has a different strategy, but those two surfers kind of have the same thoughts going into the heat.
So much excitement seeing the heat draw pan out this way, having these two matchups so early. Believe it or not, it's still round 2. Everyone in the channel is losing it. All eyes on Gabe and Kelly. Strider, how you feeling?
Oh, I'm just excited. I'm got the popcorn out. I'm like milk duds. It's one of those heats you just can't wait to watch. And just watching the game out on the peak right now, watching Slater look and turn and make it look like he was going on that last one, and making Gabriel look at it and almost look like he was going to give it a paddle, and then he pulled back and then he lost priority. So it's already he's already switched his mistake, which he made in the beginning where he didn't make that wave. So Gabriel has kind of the advantage and paddled back out, had priority, but then he took that away from him. It was a simple head fake and a little bit of art of war, so to speak. So that's what we're here for. This is the kind of stuff that we can't wait to see, and it's already happening. Oh my God. Wow, this thing is massive. I'm out of here.
Strider's moving his position to avoid getting clobbered by that wave that the boys let through out the back. That thing was crazy looking on the takeoff, detonating through the reef. Gabriel Medina turning in a 6.5 start, and Kelly turning in a fall and a 1.0. These guys have pushed each other a lot throughout their careers. The final they had in 2014 was just one of those events where it pumped from round 1 to the final. There were some scary wipeouts, people leaving with big reef scars. They both had their first falls in that final because they really started pushing each other to go even bigger. Medina, in the last 10 years has been the strongest competitor and reliable competitor here at the end of the road. 2-time champ and runner-up in the final to Jeremy that one year. He's had the battles with Owen Wright as well and Julian Wilson. He's had so many great rivals at the top level. And here he is in another great place in the world title race, turning in very consistent results and more than ready to to take on the greatest of all time.
Yeah, and just trying to get in Gabriel's mind why he lost priority on that wave. Both of the surfers kind of thrive under priority and create opportunities out of nothing. So Gabriel seeing Kelly having a look and knowing how dangerous he is. We'll get back to that after this wave from Gabe.
Gabriel fading the takeoff. It won't let him in. So he has to straighten out, and he got a little bit of time to get out in front to soften that impact of a wipeout. Smart move there. He's always got a sixth sense when it comes to weaving through the shallow parts of this reef.
Yes, and this is exactly what I mentioned. I wouldn't be surprised if Gabriel would have caught that wave underneath priority and got an 8 on it and capitalized. And that's the same type of surfer Kelly's capable of doing in these conditions. So Gabriel looking at him, seeing that double up coming underneath, and Kelly having a sniff, he's like, I don't want to give the opportunity for this guy to maybe get a good wave under priority. So he made him commit the mistake. So very smart of him. Of Kelly, very smart of Kelly to being able to push him and tell him a lemon, let's call it this way.
That's for sure. Water Patrol chatting with Gabriel Medina there. They want them to let go of their boards before those pickups. First attempted to kind of save it quickly and pull the leash, but once that ocean starts grabbing that board, it's almost impossible to take it with you. This is the 6.5.
Yeah, I like it right here. He's arm bars. It's very hard for you to do that, mostly on her forehand. Like the waves just pushes you away, and look how low he gets. Center of gravity, both hands stalling. Literally, they stick the hand on the wall of the wave to slow themselves down because the board is creating friction and pushing them out towards the channel. So beautiful move there for Gabriel. As you see it, how low he gets. He's almost touching his chin in the water just to make sure he can stick the hand as deep as possible to slow himself down, but also keep stable as he's doing it.
And Gabriel will get the IC score update there to see what all of our judges threw down for that 6.5. And Gabriel doing the trip around the lagoon. He started paddling, tried to punch his way out. I think originally he was probably hoping just to paddle back out, but it won't be too long of a trip. These guys are already starting off with a couple of wipeouts in this matchup. And Kelly will have the lineup to himself for about another minute and 20 seconds or so. Things changing at the top of the world title race, something that Kelly's usually a part of. This year just a wild card, so he's just looking to upset the world title race and get really barreled and trying to win another event, which would be a 57th event win if he can accomplish that. Kelly, a 5-time Tahiti Pro champ, winning his first back in the year 2000 in a final with his good friend Shane Dorian. Believe it or not, they started off that heat taking off switch stance. There was a little deal they had together, and even though it was chokes, they're like, well, we got to stick to our deal. Take off Goofy Foot, and then we'll kick off our heat. They did it at the World Junior Champs in Australia before that. Kelly got that win, won 4 more. His more recent win was back in 2016 in a final with John Florence. But 54 years of age, what a statement he's making for just athletes around the world, all GOATs as well, that have since retired in different sports. He's still out there, still putting on huge performances as he's looking at this one. Let's go the rail, and a rare wipeout from Slater. Looked off balance and falls immediately on the takeoff.
I know, that's very rare to watch. Like, sometimes he really likes to do those takeoffs without the hands, and it makes it very dramatic, but this time kind of losing the inside edge right there. Too much weight on his heels and ended up falling backwards. Very sketchy fall right there for him.
And just watching where Kelly's paddling out, where Gabriel is paddling from the drop-off. Priorities yet to be established, but could be incredibly important for the outcome of this matchup. Both these guys, incredible paddlers. Medina created a moment for himself at the Olympic Games in a paddle battle with Alonso Correa, where he got it off him. It ended up turning into a bronze medal performance. Kelly's able to get it back, paddling straight out. So he'll have priority as he shakes off that wipeout.
I mean, who falls in an 8-foot wave and lands right close to the lineup and just paddles himself back up before the guy that is paddling from the channel. But that's what happened right there. Maybe if you would have kept a little bit of a lower center of gravity trying to hold the rail, but he was very deep on that section, so he was probably trying to do that airdrop and pump into that first section and lost the heel edge, and that wave just ran way too fast anyways. I don't think there's nothing he could have done. Probably that's why he was adapting to trying and maybe do the takeoff with no hands to get that first big pump, driving into the barrel. But I don't think even if he made it that perfectly, you would have been enough. That wave ran way too fast.
Little paddle here, and committing is Gabriel Medina, opening wide. Plenty of room to stand straight up in that pit on the inside shelf. And just having the wherewithal to identify a different spot in the lineup with or without priority. This man is a beast. Second scoring ride coming in for Gabe to go to 6.5. Water drawing off the reef. 11-time world champ grabs the rail, controls this one back into the safety of the channel. So after two back-to-back falls, Kelly gets the completion, kicks out way ahead of Medina to get priority again.
And this is what I was talking to you about, Joe. Both of those surfers like to work themselves into rhythm. They like to catch waves in order to build the score. So if you see it in this heat already, we had plenty of wipeouts. We had some decent rides as well. And both surfers just don't stop. They can't stand still. Here, Gabriel trying to maximize an opportunity underneath on probably the smallest wave we've seen it today, but very clean and throwed it through the west bow. So impressive of him just to sniff and find that, mostly with the swell decreasing in size. As you can see, it bumps through that first section, stands tall, try to get a little bit more of a cover, but the board's just running way too fast. And you see on the other hand, Kelly adjusting on the takeoff of this wave here, using that grab to keep himself composed and very compact on top of the board, getting super deep on that first section. A shorter barrel, but he knew it was a good backup for him to build into it and kick out with priority on top of Gabriel. So smart decision there. Gets very deep in that first section. A shorter stretched wave, but comes out in front of Gabe, and it's a win-win. Gets his best wave so far with priority sitting out the back now.
So impressive to see these guys performing this level. It is confirmed Kelly did get priority again after getting his best wave so far. Strider Wasilewski, what's your take on Kelly's positioning out there?
Yeah, just watching how deep he is. He's a lot deeper than any of these prior heats. They're sitting way up the reef, and here's a heavy wave. It looks like, oh my gosh! Jeez, well, I guess you could say he's not scared and he's sending it. That was heavy, but he was so deep on that wave. I don't even think he was making it from where he was, but he did just pop right out the back. So he's looking like he's right there. He's in it. He's fine. He's broken his leash. So they're definitely going to need a new board. This is so crazy. Kelly's back out the back, swimming without a board. Now he's waiting, I think, for the Water Patrol to be able to go and get him. But the caddy's actually going to paddle to him instead of the Water Patrol going out there. Wow, that was intense. Sorry, that was a bit of a yarn, but that was crazy.
Love the yarn, Strider. That was intense, every bit of it, and just blowing my mind at the moment, Jesse, seeing Kelly wipe out this much. The pure animal in him is going for it. He's almost with reckless abandon going, I've got Gabe. I'm swinging for tens right now. He's almost competing like this is the last heat of his life and just going, I'm going to try to max out the score on you early, put the pressure all on top of you. Broken boards, 3 big wipeouts. He's got one make that hasn't even entered the screen yet, and now he's swimming to the channel. What an exciting start to this battle.
Well, if he's going against Gabriel and Gabriel going against Kelly, if there's one person in this lineup that they know can get a 10 out of any wave that comes towards the lineup, it's one and the other. So smart of him. He probably, halfway through, it seems like he already knew he was going to fall, but he had to commit to. Otherwise, Gabriel's going to catch that wave, being on his front side. The wave ran pretty fast. He might have been able to make it happen, but look, right there, he already stops and he slows himself down just to be in that perfect time in a pin drop. And do you think he has a secret path to just pin drop and come out like, you know, like it's a secret door that no one knows, like the code?
Oh yeah, that's what goats have. No one else knows about it because how fast he popped out the back was
second
uncanny.
time already.
Yeah, second time he's done it.
that.
Oh, what a magician. Kelly Slater, even wiping out, does it better than anybody else. Does have to grab a different board. He's been loving that 6-1 as well. We'll see what his backup looks like in a moment as we catch up with the winner of the last heat, Australia's George Pitars with Chris Cote.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. George, first time in Tahiti, first time competing out here at Teahupo'o. That has to be a moment you're going to be talking to your grandkids about. Can you put it in words, that surreal experience?
Yeah, it was, I don't know, it was pretty nerve-wracking, exciting, all the above. It was, when we waited a couple days, it was pretty crazy, big waves the last few days. So, but yeah, still today it's cooking, and I don't know, I hadn't really had too many waves in the free surf, to be honest. I've been kind of struggling, so it was good to get it with no one out, and wow, what a place, what a wave.
And as you paddle in from your heat, you got Kelly Slater and Gabriel Medina paddling back out. Your inner Grom must have been just going crazy.
Yeah, I know, I was tripping. I was like, honestly, it's just a bit of a relief paddling in from the heat and like having all your limbs attached to you. I don't know, seeing them two paddle out and then like the mountains in the back, the whole deal, it was crazy. And even just watching from the boat here, it's a spectacle for sure.
Huge achievement already. Congratulations, moving through into round 3. Let's go, George.
Thank you, appreciate it.
George Pitar moving on to round 3 to compete as you see the broken board that Kelly Slater just had to get rid of. He had a 6-1 that he's ridden out here in the past to great effect, to big numbers that looked brilliant on opening day, where he had the 9-point ride and several other great makes in the matchup with Eli Hanneman. As we have more action out front and letting go of the rail, surviving a wild takeoff. Kelly packs it, multiple sections, comes out flying into the channel.
Joe, that's exactly what I'm telling you. Like, those guys get under priority and they even more deadly. How did he manage to pull that off? Under Gabriel too.
You're seeing a magic man just doing what he does best, vintage goat type acts happening in front of our eyes at 54 years of age, dealing with several wipeouts, broken board, and showing that he's more ready than ever to compete in this arena. Unbelievable. Similar type of approach like we've been watching him go for, and not pulling it and sticking to it and packing multiple chambers here.
That wave definitely tripled up under him, and look how big that wave got, and he was able to stabilize. And right there he starts to stall, which everyone else, not everyone else, but most people would be just wanting to sprint down the line. And after that, he already knew he was coming out. Like, he was, all the job was done on that takeoff, like how late he was, the wave was underneath, tripling up underneath. And then as he got he had himself on the rail and went over that first fumble, it was just an enjoyment place for Kelly. Letting the rails go, classic style, coming out knowing he got a massive score.
Strider Wazalewski, what are we watching right now?
We're watching some excellence. We're watching the greatest of all time do his thing. It was insane that drop that he took off. I mean, he was under priority. And you know what, whether he baited him out there and he did it on purpose or not, I'm not sure. But Kelly was sitting way too deep earlier in this heat. And then now he's moved in and he was underneath that heavy section that we saw. And he was so late. There was so much drama in the whole performance. And then once he got underneath it, he became comfortable. And then he was his happy place. It's where he lives, in the barrel. And he just threaded the needle so perfectly. And I was in such awe of watching what was going down. I didn't move. Usually I'm trying to get out of the way and paddle out of the way. And he came out of the tube above me and just looked down at me. And he's like pointed at me. And it was just like one of those moments you're just like, that was just incredible. And to have that seat, to be able to sit here and watch all of that excellence go down it was an honor. That was insane. That was another amazing moment from Kelly Slater here in Tahiti at Teahupo'o. So thank you, Kelly. And I'm sure there's more to come.
More to come. Thank you so much, Strider. Absolute greatness in front of our eyes. So it makes this performance even crazier as he's sitting next to Gabriel Medina. An absolute giant sitting next to him. I see the score update, almost maxing out the scale, 9.73, 110 thrown from the Australian judge. That gets thrown out along with the 9.5. And we have the biggest number of the event so far. We've got another Mophie Charger contender. And Kelly Slater has put Gabriel Medina in combo with 18 minutes to go.
That was so impressive from Kelly. Cat reflexes, skills right there for him. That wave just came out of nowhere, and Gabriel just trying of his own poison. Like, that's what he usually does mostly in those conditions. He's able to find nooks in the reef where waves that are unseen and untouchable being read and turned into the 9.7. And we spoke about that a little bit ago. Both surfers lost priority already before because of knowing the talent of one another, and this time he was just a little bit further than Gabriel, and Gabriel wasn't able to touch on that wave and get a piece of it, and Kelly turned into a 9.73.
You can see Kelly kind of stretching, touching his back a bit, doing his famous little splash of the water surface, always connecting to the mana, the energy. Just tapping into that animal instinct that he has as one of the most feared competitors for about 30 plus years straight on the championship tour. 9.73, best number we've had of the contest, putting Gabriel in combo. You know, and it's interesting when you try to like figure out what's happening in front of our eyes. Being 54 and being still at the height of your powers in a wave like this, and you know, chatting with Kelly's peers from the Momentum generation, they're just beyond impressed with what he's throwing down right now.
Look at what happened right there. The nose starts to catch, so he has to put so much pressure on the back foot in order to not have that nose catch the water and that board fit on the wave. It's so curvy and so steep, and also at the same time he's trying to control all the wave pushing him downwards and putting the pressure on the heels to engage that. So you can see it right here. Once again, he takes off and the wave's so steep under him, starts to catch the nose, so he applies pressure on that back foot in order to lift the nose up and create that energy and just somehow pull the Houdini and make that happen.
Great point, Jesse. I mean, anyone else in the world, you start grabbing your rail coming down with that much pressure, you're done. It's game over. No one's recovering from that. And for Kelly to be that agile to make that adjustment halfway down the face of a 12-footer, it's beyond comprehension.
It's just the bottom dropped out right there. He was just seeing a white like a black surface underneath him, and also, like, as he's doing that, he's trying to engage that inside rail, engage the fins. There's so much happening, and it's a split-second decision that made him get the 9.73. He got the 9.73, but made it possible for him to ride that wave.
Oh, absolute insanity from Kelly Slater going to CT by the numbers. This goes back to 2008. Remember, Kelly competed back in 2000, those early events out here. So from 2008 forward, he's just turned in his 47th 9+ ride. Easily the best ever out here when it comes to those types of numbers. As we see more waves roll through the lineup, this one will go through unridden. But catching up with Shane Dorian, you know, he was just thinking how daunting it must be with all this pressure, knowing how many people are watching. Now, how many people his age wouldn't put himself out here to feel that? As we see Gabriel up and under, and a nice clean read from Medina. As we can see Gabriel's approach, not as reckless. Even his 0.5 was a very controlled kick out with the section clamping. His decision making has just been a little bit more finesse, a little bit more iron sharp. Kelly's doing the reckless abandon, going for it, and it's working for Kelly at the moment. However, Medina is keeping a really sharp head on the clock and his strategy at the moment.
And I think, Joe, that's just typical Gabriel. He's just laser sharp, knows exactly what he needs to do, and also the type of wave that Gabriel likes to choose here. He usually likes to choose those runners that comes with the more south angle into the west bow, as you can see it. But this one just not running enough for him, so he has to stall the whole time. Still a beautiful ride, but for the level of the heat that we have right now, he needed something to stretch a little bit more, so after those stall, he could start really driving on that front foot and gaining speed. So unfortunately for Gabriel, wasn't probably what he was hoping for, but this is pretty normal for him. I remember on the year that he won here, the waves were pumping the whole time. He was always getting those deeper waves and driving through the barrel. Maybe they weren't as intense, but they were so deep and so long that capitalized on the big scores that he was getting. And that's the strategy that he usually has here. And he's been the best the last 10 years, so like, why would he change it?
Yeah, numbers still coming in for last of Gabriel, who has one of the best track records at this wave. When these two guys match up, you stop everything you're doing, and you just got to watch and enjoy it. Strider, what's happening out there?
Well, I think everybody else had the same idea. Come on out, watch it, and enjoy it. The channel is packed. There's about 15 or 20 more skis out here, jet skis with people on them, athletes and viewers, and just like the coach's corner over there off the buoy, every coach is out there. Everybody's out there. All the surfers, all the kids, everybody wanting to see this kind of moment. And I feel like whether it's just the greatness of Gabriel and Kelly in a heat together, or the fact that this could be, one of Kelly's last heats, whatever it is, they're here to see it, and it's a beautiful thing to see and feel and get that kind of energy off the crowd. They're all showing up just to enjoy the greatness of what's happening out here in Tahiti. So hats off to these two athletes, because they've given us some of the greatest moments ever in surfing, and they're giving us another one right now. And Kelly, 54 years old, has been giving us moments for his whole life. So thanks again, Kelly. You're the greatest.
Thank you, Strider. Yeah, Ross Williams told me yesterday, he's like, Kelly has a million reasons that you don't even have to look for and why he could just chill. His legacy's built. He's good. He's got 2 young kids. He just had a major hip surgery, but instead he's going, yeah, I'll take on this wild card and enter one of the most intimidating arenas in pro surfing.
He turns those a million reasons into opportunities, to make it happen. That's the type of guy he is.
I see the score update, 7.67. It's the best score for Medina so far, and also better than Kelly's backup at the moment. So Gabe's in a good spot now. Yeah,
important moment for Gabe. Obviously still needing a 907, but way more enriched right now and putting himself in one strike contention in order to turn the heat over. I expected the score wasn't going to go as high, but if you look back at Kelly's 7-point ride, we're so excited looking at the 973 that we forget the other waves, but the 7-point ride was quite short. It was intense, but quite short. This one, Gabriel was able to drive through a little bit longer, so that's what gave the edge on the backup of Kelly Slater. So, yeah, good call for the judges. And now, Gabriel and Rich, and how many times we've seen it, first wave of the set coming pretty decent, but the second one even better. So that's a sketchy moment for Kelly. Like, when does he pull the trigger knowing who he has against?
These guys' track record at the end of the road is just unbelievable. Gabriel calls it his favorite stop on tour, and you can see the numbers he's turned into his 11th start here at the Outerknown Tahiti Pro, presented by IC, and 2 big wins. But he's had so many runner-ups along the way. Runner-up to Jeremy Flores, we talked about that. Runner-up in 2017, 2019, 2023. Like, Gabe's always there on the podium and picking up 2 wins along the way. And, you could say the same for Kelly. He lost to Gabe in one of those finals. Also lost to Ace Buchan out here, but taking out 5 championship tour wins here at Teahupo'o. His most recent one in 2016. Let's go a couple of years before that. Sheet glass, sun shining, 12 to 15 foot on the face, maybe bigger and flawless. Kelly got past John Florence in the semis, talked to be one of the greatest heats of all time. This one's got to be right behind it in the final.
I mean, and you can see the strategy right there. This one's actually one of the waves that Gabriel came that was more of a West Bowley wave, but usually the first one, as you saw, the deeper ones that runs down the point. This is flawless. Like, it's like a wave pool. It's Kelly's wave pool, but with 10 foot.
They were going blow for blow, trading high nines. It was Gabriel's day to take the win. He had won at Snapper Rocks at the start of that season, and he became a 20-year-old world champion at the end of the year at Pipeline. Right when Gabe won, he went straight upstairs, asked contest officials, how old was Kelly when he won his first? And we were like, oh, 20. And he's like, well, I'm 20. How old? Who is older? And he found out Kelly's still the youngest, having that record. But Gabe was really curious.
There's no coming back on that,
yeah,
right?
you can't get younger in that moment. But he came close. They're the only 2 guys in history that won world titles at the age of 20. As Kelly's 20-year-old victory for the world title was in 1992. Surfing with guys like Damian Hardman, Derek Ho, Martin Potter on the end of his career, Barton Lynch. As we see one of the most familiar faces here at Teahupo'o, Raimana, close to everybody, always tells you that he loves you. But he's been in Kelly's corner for a very, very long time. They stay together. They're Outerknown team riders together. And I don't know if anyone knows the ocean, especially here at Chopes, more than Raimana.
I actually owe him a heat win from him doing the same thing. He used to work for Quicksilver, and he was on the boat, and there's about 20 seconds left. I had given up already, and he started telling me, there's a south wave coming, like starts pointing. And I got the wave, so thank you, Raimana. Appreciate that.
Those magic moments as a coach. Jeremy Flores told us an incredible story as well before he won the Andy Irons Award for taking on crazy waves after the Code Red swell against Yari Williams. He just forced him to step off on a tow wave, got smoked into the lagoon, and Jeremy said it was the best thing for him because then he was ready to charge. He said he has no idea if he would have gone because he was so scared before that happened. 7:10 on the clock. Priority with Kelly. He will commit. Bottom drops out. Controls this one with grace. Styling through. Clutching that rail and getting blown out. And he will salute the crowd.
He's on the best waves of the heat. He definitely is on the best waves of the heat. Right there, you could show that wave stretched out so nicely, Joe.
Strider, how's he feeling?
He looks like a possessed demon. No joke. The way that he just like rolled off the back of that wave right there, the way that he rode that wave, stalling, his technique, the body in the wave, making sure he was as deep as possible, right next to the foam ball, but not too far back so he doesn't get taken out. Everything was perfect. It was Kelly Slater, is what he does. But when he kicked out next to me and he looked over and he said, "Haha, let's go, bro," he had this look in his eyes that I have not seen in a really long time, if ever. It was like a man possessed. So I'm loving it. Let's see what happens throughout the rest of the event. But he's got the eyes of a possessed man that wants to win, and it looks like he's doing just that.
Thank you, Strider. Hands to the sky anytime anyone gets a crazy tube, and especially when the goat flies by, salutes the crowd, and keeps bringing big moments like this, especially against a guy that's given him a lot of trouble in his career. I mean, it's 8-2 in Gabe's favor over Kelly, including 4 straight wins in a row. And those last 4 wins include heats at Pipe, heats at Fiji, maybe where you'd think Kelly would have to jump on him, but it's typically been going Medina's way ever since these two clashed. I see the score drop down. Oh my goodness. Change the records again. Another 9+ ride. 9.33, 9.73, 19.06 combined total. The combination is now severe over Gabriel Medina.
Yeah, this is tough. He's in a tough moment right now. And he took exactly the wave that Gabriel loves to surf. Deeper one. Nice entry. Slow himself down. Looks like Gabriel's having a look on a kind of a west bowly one underneath. Let's see what's going to happen.
Here comes Medina running through this section, staying wide open, and just held his speed line throughout. So just another nice shootout type wave for Gabe. Not making any mistakes, not trying to get too radical on takeoffs, just gunning it and maxing out his tube time. But he wants to break the combo there, so he's going to start needing something to go excellent to start getting closer to the 9s to give himself a shot with 4:15 to go.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tough situation for him. I don't even know if he's going to get a 9 on this wave. This is a very deep barrel. He drives through that first section, disappears, keeps him going. But it's a 906 that he needs in order to break through that combo. Beautiful angle here from the drone. See how the lumps that are going through, it makes it so hard to navigate. It's an excellent surfed wave, no doubt in my eyes. Is it the 906? I don't see it.
Just the way he rolls in, effortless. And then just driving in the pocket when he needed to make sure he went the distance.
And the crazy thing about it, Joe, if you think Kelly Slater came in with excellent average heat score in the matter of 21 events, and he's actually bettering now. Because the previous heat, he got whatever, 16 something, and this one he's getting 19 point total. So he keeps getting better out here.
Yeah, it's crazy. 3:10 on the clock. Gabriel Medina turning in his best. He is building with his score line. Had a 7.67, and now building that to an 8.43. So finally going excellent there, but we're catching up with CT by the numbers again. We're talking about 19 plus heats here at Choves. Kelly on top of that list as well, with now 8 of them. You're watching the 8th, still with 2:45 to go. Florence behind him with 5. So it's not like you're showing up in the latter part of your career. You know, he hasn't been competing. He had a hip surgery, among other things, and sleepless nights with 2 young kids in the house these days. And just going lights out for us. Ross and Shane picked up on how calm he felt in his opening round heat. You know, in Ross's words, spooky calm, you know, where there was something about him where it looked like he had that energy, like he's going all the way in this thing, like he knows something that you don't know. Just so brilliant to see him kick off a wild card moment like that against Eli, but then to be tested against a guy that's had his number for several years, beyond impressive.
Yeah, and just how he was pushing himself in the beginning of this heat, like he knew that he had to step it up the game. Like Gabriel didn't have the most crazy heat of his life, but he's still sitting on 16.10 total. So that shows how good that guy is. And Kelly knew from the start of the heats, he knew he had to push himself over the ledge in the craziest waves that would come. And he did that, got rewarded, and is taking the win.
Strider Wazalewski, Gabe did turn in an 8.43, but we're down to 90 seconds.
Yep. Snake's been looking at me the whole time, asking me to put it in the fridge, and it's hard to put it in the fridge with Gabriel because he's so good. But look at this wave. No, Kelly was looking at it. It just Gabriel lacked the drama that Kelly Slater provided. So I feel like that was kind of the point of difference. You know, not making it. Just every kind of theatric point you could put in there, Kelly puts in there to his surfing, and that's what created this victory for him. And you know, beautiful work. So nice work, and can't wait to see the next heat with Kelly Slater, because I put it.
That's it. Thank you, Strider. Yeah, putting in the fridge. It was a classic saying from the great late Chick Hearn in Laker games when he would just call it really early, and he was always spot on saying this game is over, even when there was time on the clock. That's that fridge reference. It was, for Kelly, like Strider said, it was just that raw risk factor that he put into it. Jesse, Kelly did pay for it, you know, multiple times. Going for that raw, just wild, radical approach, but it didn't pay off. It shows just his ability mentally and physically to be able to be willing to take a beating like that multiple times and then get a couple of big 9s to follow. I mean, that was the energy he had to bring if he was going to compete with Medina out here. Gabriel will get this wave and just enjoy the view of a healthy looking tube. He's still surfing incredibly well. He's still got a high seed inside the top 5 picture, but he will have to move on to cloud break. And Kelly breaks the losing streak that he's had with Medina. 4 in a row before that. Now it goes to 8-3 all time. And Kelly changing the game in this event with the biggest numbers and biggest heat scores so far, as he is just getting more dangerous as he flies into round 3.
Yeah, this is nuts what's going on right now.
Gabriel tack sharp on his approach. Didn't take any crazy beatings. He did have a wipeout in the free surf before the event started where he ended up hitting his head on the reef on the side, so he got that attended to. But the two unbelievable athletes will take a moment for each other out in the channel. So much respect between the two. And now things are changing in our top 5 picture moving forward. Kelly moves on. Coming up next, another giant name at Chopes, defending event champ Jack Robinson headlines the All-Aussie Heat with Callum Robson. We'll be right back.
Thanks, team. Kelly, this place was absolutely buzzing when you and Medina paddle out there, and that heat had everything. Talk about the start, right? Yeah. The hard times, broken board, a couple of severe poundings, and then the glory. Start with the whitebelts, then talk about the barrels.
Yeah, I definitely had to settle in. I knew going against Gabe, he's just so savvy of a competitor. I have to thank my coach, Jeremy Flores, for the pep talk online today. I wasn't with him. I haven't seen him today or yesterday, but he gave a pep talk when he was doing the broadcast. So that actually got me really to think about how to engage and get in the heat. And so I tried to push a bit deeper today. There's some big lumps coming across it, so it's hard to, if you take off behind one of those lumps, you're kind of, it's almost impossible to make them. And that first one, I was a little bit deep, and I didn't get a super clean entry. I kind of delayed my paddle a little, trying to find a bump, and it whitewashed me. And then when I finally got up in the barrel, I just fell into a cavern and got smashed. And then, gosh, I don't remember the sequence, but then I took off on a massive one, like probably one of the bigger ones I've ever paddled into out here, it felt like, and I just dove from the lip. I started paddling and I thought maybe I'm under it, but it just, the apex of the paddle of the ledge went underneath me, and I was like, well, I don't know, the boys would be stoked if I went, so I just stood up and jumped, and I was in the air just going, Eli Hanneman, like, I know how you feel, and so shout out to Eli. You inspired me there, but then I just thought, like, look, if I'm gonna have a good heat with Gabe, I don't know if I'll ever have another heat with him, and he got me last time. I need to settle in. I just started doing little breathing exercises and calming down and get the heart rate down and just focus. Okay, start over here, and then he got that long one all the way in, and I kind of pulled a Medina on him. I got a barrel, got a short one, got the 7, but it was a nice chunky short one, and then I was sitting on the back of priority when my good one came, and I could see Strider just going, you better get this thing. So, yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Now, revenge is a dish best served at Teahupo'o. 2014, you had the final with Medina, and I know you were thinking about it. How good did that feel to get the edge today?
Yeah, best served cold 12 years later. Yeah, it felt good. I mean, that final we had was a dream scenario anyways, just to be in that heat, in those conditions, and after having that heat with John, which is, will go down in my lifetime as, I'll think back on that'll be the top of all the heats I've ever had, and dream scenario to tie with John out here, and to surf against both those guys in the same contest was super special. These last couple of days, if the wind was like that those days, it'd be similar. If it was glacier, it'd be the same kind of thing we're looking at, but. Super special. I just knew Gabe was going to probably start just getting a bunch of waves and settle himself into, some sort of 7s and 8s. And then, if he sticks in himself underneath one of those big ones, could easily get the 9s or whatever. He only needed a 9 at the end. And I was thinking, he's not far out of it. I mean, he's super in this heat right now. And part of me was thinking he'd come back, and part of me was thinking it would be super cool if he came back and beat me, because it would just make the heat such a good story, But then I settled back out there after he got back out of the combo. I just went, okay, let's think about putting him in a combo situation here. What do I need to do? Let's maximize what's out here as opposed to like try to just surf a smart heat. Let's maximize the points out here, and so I ended up getting that other good one.
Well, hell of a run so far. When you accepted this wild card, is this kind of everything you expected, or is this something different?
No, it's kind of what I expected. There were a lot of, obviously you see those comments, a lot of people doubting me or that they should have gone to a local wild card, and I get why people say that. Ronnie Nelson, shout out to you, I forgive you. All good. But when you see your friends say it, it pisses you off, So, but when there's, without pressure, you got no diamonds, so it kind of fired me up to see that stuff. And also, if people feel that way, even after all this time, I have something to prove. I need to go out and show that it went to the right guy. And, if I had lost that heat, it might have still felt like it was that way. But I think I proved myself there. And I usually have a hard heat or two early on in a contest when I start doing well that settles me down. And so I'll feel a lot calmer after that. like I told you before, I felt like I had a little bit of a stomach ulcer. I mean, you know, we don't need to talk about any of that, but everyone knows Gabe's been through a lot lately, and also highs and lows. And I really, you know, we've become good friends, and I just really appreciate his surfing and his career, and I think he's awesome. So, you know, huge shout out to Gabriel. And it's tough to come all this way, and you know, also losing to someone who's not in the title race and that kind of stuff it's like I'm on the other side of that now. So I feel all those emotions and the toughness of that travel and being away from family and all that stuff. You know, it's when you have a loss, it sucks. So yeah, that was a very emotional heat. I almost started crying afterwards. So it was great.
Lastly, how much confidence do you have that you can win this contest?
I think I can.
Go for it. Congratulations. Good luck moving through, Kelly.